Guys, it's Jean from Glitter Llama. Geode coasters are pretty popular nowadays, and I wanted to come on and make a tutorial since the holiday season is coming upon us, and it's a perfect way to do a DIY craft gift for friends, family, especially if you're on a budget. But you can also resell them. I've seen them on Etsy for about 25 to even $50 for a set. So these coasters, and they're really simple to make. Um, the variation in colors, you can really do anything with them. Different, you can go blues and purples, pinks, and they're really cute. So this one I actually did Princess Penelope and 24 karat llama, space llamas, and a little bit of acrylic, pink acrylic paint with some white opaque um, into the space llamas. But I wasn't sure if I like actually the acrylic because it takes so long to dry. Um, so I decided for the rest of the tutorial to do a different color using alcohol inks. And like I said, you can really do just about anything with them. You can make them simple, you can make them, ultra glittery, but it's really up to you. Before we begin, you'll make sure that you used your protective mask and gloves at all time because resin is pretty toxic. Um, so the materials that we'll be using are mica powders that I got off Amazon, alcohol ink, uh, glitter, and resin. And the glitter that I've chosen for this one are Emerald Coast Llamas, which is a chunky blue-green mix that I've not released yet, but as soon as I see how it turns out, I will definitely put it on the site. I've pre-mixed 5 cups of resin. So this Geode mode takes a lot of resin. And this is the resin dye that I got off of Amazon. You get 25 packs for about $14.99, and it's used for soap making and makeup. So the mica powder works really well for the resin. And we're going to use pearl and a green pearl, Dr. PH Martin Indian ink in teal and in blue. And these are just my favorite products that I like to use. And that's the Emerald Coast Llamas. And of course, Space Llama. I'm going to start by taking a couple drops of the alcohol ink, and that's in blue. And just want to mix it thoroughly with I like to use popsicle sticks because I can throw it away when I'm finished. And I actually add some more drops to make it darker. I grew up in the panhandle of Florida, so I'm going for like in the Gulf of Mexico and the Destin area. It's so beautiful. They call it Emerald Coast. So it's blue-green water, sugar white sand, and this geode reminds me of back home. That is the teal. A lot of people make their own alcohol ink. I'm not a fan, just because you have to use so many Sharpies, and it's kind of time consuming. So for the price, I just go in. I either order them or I go to Michael's with my coupon and purchase the inks. And I use a popsicle stick and I take a little bit of the mica powder, just a little bit because it goes a long way. So you just kind of just want to color it so it's a little bit. You can see it's kind of got a pearl sheen to it. I'm actually going to do the same thing with the pearl. And I'm adding the space llamas to that one. And then we're going to keep one clear, but we're going to add the Emerald Coast Llama Chunky Mix to it. Okay, we're going to take the Emerald Coast Llama and we're going to start in the middle. So I like to have a lot of control when I'm making these, just because I want to make sure that, you know, the colors go where I place them. But you can certainly, you know, if you want to mix and match, but I think the easiest way is to start in the center and work your way out. And I take the popsicle stick and I kind of just guide the glitter and the resin where I want it. Because in the end, it's going to, once you pull it out, it'll, you know, you'll have 4 pieces, so you kind of want them to match. And this is the llama, the space llamas with the pearl mix. And you're going to do the same thing. Just make it as thin as you want or as thick as you want. I chose to kind of go a little thin. And you can see that I don't have gloves on, but before I mixed when I was mixing the resin, I did have gloves on, and
I kind of chose to take them off because they were sticky. But you definitely want to wear gloves when you do this. And this is the green pearl. Mm. And that's the teal. And that's the blue. go back and I add a little bit of space llamas into the edge. Because here in a little bit we're going to flood the whole geode with clear epoxy. So you'll see kind of looks like an avocado. You can certainly go back and add more color in the areas if you want to. So this actually took quite a bit of resin. I mixed 5 cups, but then I also had extra clear resin on the side. And you're actually going to use that and you're going to pour right into the center of each section. And what that'll do is it will push the colors kind of around to where they blend in a little bit. So I think this geode took 1 part A and 1 part B of the little white cups that I'm using that you can get at Walmart, the little plastic white cups. I didn't really measure, but I just did it mostly in the center and maybe a little bit on the edge. And it just pushes the color out. And take a popsicle stick. You see, I realize I went the wrong way, but you're kind of just moving the colors so they all kind of blend in together. The type of resin that I use, I normally don't have bubbles, so it just depends. Some, excuse me, some resins that you use have a lot of air bubbles, and I use KS resin, and I've really never had too many bubbles or any problems with it. But you can see that I go back and I put a little bit more kind of in the center. And just as a precaution, I do a little bit more green or a little bit more teal just in some of the areas. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's art, and they're not going to be the same. Each piece is going to be different. I have a tendency to be OCD about things. You could pick it up and kind of manipulate the pattern a little bit. You can see that it's starting to go over and I make a mess, but I just kind of clean the edges off with a popsicle stick. And you can take a lighter that you use for lighting candles, just a cheap one. You don't want to take a torch to it because it'll melt your mold, but this is just to make sure that you don't have any bubbles in your epoxy. So just go over it just a little bit. Like I said, I don't generally have bubbles because I use KS resin.